Hey everybody, welcome to the Face-to-Face Ministries podcast, the #1 resource for learning what it means to have a healed heart, connect more deeply with Jesus, and experience true and lasting transformation in your life. I'm one of your hosts, Kathy Little.
And I'm your other host, Melinda Wilson. Please hit subscribe so you don't miss the fresh content we're continuing to release. And while you're at it, we greatly appreciate your help in getting the word out by giving us a 5-star rating and leaving a quick review. You can also keep up with us by following our social media by searching face-to-faceministries.org on Facebook. That's no spaces, no numbers, and no caps. And on Instagram at face-to-face-min, and that's all one word.
We want to invite you to join us in our free Face-to-Face Heart Healing Network and in our premium network. Be part of a growing community of people just like you who are wanting to dive deeper into what it means to access the full benefits package of the cross and learning how to help others do the same.
Our team also offers one-on-one ministry sessions that can be done virtually, and you can also learn how to help others connect with Jesus and find healing in their lives through training we offer in the ministry model we use. And for more information about all of the resources, trainings, and events that we offer, visit face-to-faceministries.org. And while you're there, please sign up for our newsletter.
All right, so let's dive into today's episode.
Hey, everybody. We are at episode 99.
Pretty impressive, I think. I mean, we didn't have any idea when we first started this thing.
So. And we are coming at you. You can probably tell the sound quality is not as great as others, but we thought, you know what? We just want to bring you along with us where we are. And if you can guess, the first one to guess, call in 1-800. Oh yeah, it's not radio. Shoot, guys.
Oh man.
I wish you could. Remember, if you're the 10th caller, you get tickets to Duran Duran. Now I'm dating myself. Everyone knows how old I am. But anyway.
Well, we're trying to figure out when we'd be able to record this podcast and figured out it just wasn't going to happen unless we did it right now. And we're in transit. We are driving. So this is being recorded on the phone.
Yes.
This is like reality. Y'all are in the car with us.
And it's not a self-driving car, in case you were wondering.
No, it's not. And it's late. It's like 9:45. But, we're getting ready to crack 100 episodes. And so we thought it would be fun to reflect on the first 99 episodes of the podcast and kind of let you in on some backstory, share maybe some things that you don't know about behind some of the interviews, and give you just kind of let you in, let it be real personal. We'll just kind of let this one be real personal. We don't have an interview for you today, but we have episodes 100 and 101 already recorded. And you are going to love our celebration, our guests, man. We put together a rock star panel discussion that is going to just be absolutely amazing. Thought it was really fitting to celebrate our 100th episode with these gentlemen.
Don't get so excited about that you don't listen to this.
I know,
because
this one's
listen,
going to be fun.
The thing is, guys and gals, you know what I'm saying when I say guys, that yes, these are amazing people that are going to be next week. But you've got us, many of you have actually met us. So I think there's something kind of special about just being us this time. And we are looking forward to, after episode 100 and 101, of what we're going to be doing then as well.
Yeah.
And
got some really cool ideas of a little bit of a shift in not focus, but in format.
Yes. So, and we really are going to try to be incorporating some ways that we could even get you guys to some more input from y'all.
Yeah.
We'll just keep listening.
Yeah.
But we do, I'm thinking maybe, Kathy, we can start with this might be the weirdest place that we've recorded. I mean, although...
No, it's not the weirdest.
No, it's not the weirdest. That's true.
The weirdest was... the weirdest
just
place...
the name of the town is weird.
The weirdest place that we ever recorded. We were on a road trip, actually heading up to Yakima, Washington, to interview Harold Eberly, Danny Silk, and Brian Simmons, and Paul Young in north of Portland. And we did a little sightseeing on the way up, and we stopped at this little hodunk nowhere town named Tumult, Oregon.
Now, if anyone lives there, please don't be offended by what Kathy just said. It's if you blink, you miss it. Like one.
Yeah, it was.
There's one Shell station.
There's a pilot. They built a pilot.
Okay,
but
that's about it.
We recorded in the bathroom of the little hotel room that we were in.
And the hotel looks like, well, I think it was built in like 18 something.
Yeah, it's
from
like
the
ancient.
Old West, like saloon, like gunslinging. I want to challenge you to a duel type building.
It was fun.
Like you step from the parking lot into the room and like you want to make sure your curtains are closed because the Harley Davidsons are driving right up to the, the building is for sale, by the way, if you want to buy
a quaint
hotel in Tumult, Oregon, because if you ever go to Crater Lake, that's where you'll stay probably. And there's like two options.
Yeah.
But that was the quietest room, and we did take a photo of us, a selfie of us in the bathroom, but really spacious bathroom, I think it was about a 7x5 room.
Yep. And I want to dial back even to episode 1 because the very first, we had some of our content, and we'll talk about some of our guests in a minute, but we had like 2 or 3 interviews already recorded, but we hadn't started doing our part and actually producing the podcast. And so we were house sitting for Melinda's folks in Grass Valley. We're cat sitting, and we decided to just pull the trigger. We're just going to start this thing, because we were learning how to do it. I had never known how to do this stuff before. And so here we go, learning how to do it.
Do you even have a mic?
We used the Zoom thing from the video recording.
That's right.
This little Zoom thing, and we set it up.
Yeah.
And we were at the kitchen table, and the stupid refrigerator kept running, and it was noisy.
How dare it?
I know. Well, it was because the mic was really sensitive. So we ended up recording in your dad's bedroom.
Yeah, they don't even know.
They don't even know.
It had carpet, and I think we had to turn. I don't know what time of the. I guess it was hot.
It was hot.
Had to turn the AC off. So it was like 80 degrees in the house, but we've come a long way, baby.
We have. Technology-wise and all that, but I think one of our biggest challenges has been audio all along, but whatever, it works. We do what we got to do, and we're recording on the phone right now, so you got to do what you got to do. But so to dial back even at the beginning, we recorded a couple of intros and outros at our church in a proper studio, and that's like the best we ever did, and it was right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But we were putting the intro and outro discussion on Donna Da Silva, who is the founder of Bethel Sozo, and she was our first interview. And when we decided to jump onto this train, Melinda started asking for interviews. She responded in like 10 minutes via email and said, yes, I'd be happy to be part of this. And then we already had Dr. Carl Lehman booked, and he was going to be teaching an advanced seminar for the Emmanuel Approach in Virginia, and you were going to be attending that. And then
I was flying across country too.
And then I flew out and met you there, and we recorded him. But when you asked Dr. Carl, he changed his flight.
Yeah, he was going to fly out earlier, and he said he would change his flight for us. So, talk about favor.
Yeah, it was
and
so
then,
cool.
I know Heidi Baker's not Inner Healing, but she was also one of the first, and we interviewed her at our church in Vacaville, and I, found out she was coming, reached out to her people, and she had 5 or 6 other invitations from much more famous people, like God TV, which is like TBN type thing, and she said no to them and yes to us because the Lord told her to.
Was crazy favor.
And it was just phenomenal. And I remember, just if you guys hadn't heard of Heidi Baker, if you had, it's just, she's so endearing. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to her, meet her, or whatever, please go whenever you can. She's the most humble person. But, she pulls up at the church, they're dropping her off, and she gets out of the car, huge smile on her face. You talk about someone happy to be with you. That's her. She's like, hi, I'm Heidi. I'm
as if we didn't know.
Yeah, I think I know. Yeah. But she's just so unassuming and didn't assume that we knew who she was. And we had it was so special. And she was she is one of my real heroes in the faith. And that was an incredible honor to just really sit like knee to knee, literally, with her and talk to her and have a conversation and just find out too, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, all these famous people, and they're all like
they're all normal people
and humans, and it's, there really was, I think the most, if I was going to say starstruck, it would have been with Heidi Baker, because she really is a hero of mine. But then you get to hang out and it's like everyone is human, and everybody is, you find out, well, we all have to eat food, we all put on clothes, we all, you know, brush our teeth and have the human experience of pain, of sorrow, of joy, of heartbreak, of loss, of gain, of, you know, victories and losses. And that's the beautiful thing of this, is that, and, you know, we also, just thinking of Jesus, that he was fully human. And I think we forget that too, that if we sat down and interviewed him, I think we'd be really surprised. Like, oh my gosh, Jesus, you're hungry? Like, you have to get
tired?
Yeah, you get tired. You need the restroom? Like, really?
Human
I
experience.
think just having that, not that we're equating any of these people with Jesus, you know what I'm saying, but just like that we have a God who can absolutely relate to us. And so all these other people that we interviewed that we can hold in really high regard, they're all human, just like all of us. And so it's really encouraging, and it has been a massive honor to meet in person.
Well, and to think about the way that we started off, just our first handful of episodes were with these giants. Like, you know, Donna Da Silva is internationally known and was very integral to my healing journey, because I was introduced to Sozo when I really was broken and needing desperately to have my heart healed. And the church that God had moved me in, you can listen to my testimony in episode 3 if you missed it. Donna Da Silva and Teresa Liebscher came out and did a training in Sozo like a month after I landed this new church, and I'm like totally bleeding to death and needing healing. And so it was really an honor to connect with her, and we've interviewed her since and are connected with her. You know, most of these people from season 1 we have continued relationship with, and then, you know, we've talked about the Transformation Alliance in our last episode with the Whitmans, and then we talked with Donna a few episodes before that about this. And it's really beautiful what God's doing, because that was the whole point of us going after all of these different voices in inner healing, was to bring them together and to create a resource where you could come and learn about all these different people. Like, we're hearing from a lot of our listeners that are saying, I never knew any of these other things existed, you know, and so this is like the palette. It's like going to the frozen yogurt place and you've got like 20 different flavors and you can sample.
Oh, look, there's an exit for frozen yogurt. Pull over there, please. Oh, closes at 10. Quick.
But it was so cool to see the favor that we had even booking these interviews. Like the first, like we had such quick yeses, and then it was a few months in and we flew to Denver to be part of a conference.
Okay, I need to talk about that one. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, yeah, now I'm like, starting to shake because, well,
it was,
no, in a good way, but this was the Life Model Works people, Jim Wilder and Chris and Jen Corsi, Amy Brown, Ed Corey, Marcus
and
Warner,
Ed Corey, and that's where we met Kathy Larson.
So, y'all, so we had a 2-camera setup. Now, remember, in the beginning, we were filming, because that's my background. Just a fresh reminder that how this all started, real quick, was 2 years ago now. Was it 2 years? Yes.
Well, it's 2.5.
It's been 2.5, almost 3 years. I was introducing this different inner healing models to a retreat, some leaders at a retreat in Ohio that we were ministering at, and the lady was like, is there a centralized resource for all of these inner healing models? And I said, no. And she's like, well, you need to write a book. And I was like, and I asked the Lord, I got home. I didn't really go like that to her, but inside. And I got home and I said, Lord, do I write a book? And he said, film. And that's because that was my background. And so we I just immediately started reaching out to people. Can we interview you? So it was really fun, but also very laborious.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
To do 2 camera shoots and all these, and we didn't. Oh my gosh! And even
audio
the audio.
Was my
Oh my gosh! We were using 3 different audio recording devices with all these lapel mics and boom mics and all this stuff. And so I was like,
we looked like we knew what we were doing.
We did. I mean, I had been a videographer, but it had been a long time. In fact, I went out and bought a new camera for all this and was trying to learn it. I mean, I had fun, but basically because I always wanted to be an interviewer. Like that was, if I could live life again, well, there's like 17 different other careers I would have done, but that would have been fun to do. But Barbara Walters would have been one of them. And so I was like, okay, Kathy, this is how you do the cameras. And so and I was usually the one behind the camera. I said, you're behind the camera, I'll be in front. And I love it.
I don't know if anybody realizes that I never interviewed anybody in season 1.
That's true. I interviewed all of them. And
because we needed somebody working the camera.
Yeah. And I love interviewing people. And
but let's get back to the
Transform conference in Denver. And so we have this one room set up. Oh, we have lights. We borrowed lights. I mean, y'all, we're just hacks. We couldn't bring all the lights with us. We were flying across the country.
Yeah, lest anybody think we're superhuman.
I don't think anybody does.
No.
Yeah, that's never been. We interviewed 8. Was it 8?
8 people.
8 people in one day. And by the time now, Melinda doesn't run out of words, y'all. She just. I'm talking about myself. I just don't. I can talk all day and all night and listen to you all day and all night. I do both. I'm a really good listener. And if you've met me, you know that. But I'm like, by the time the 7th interview, I'm like, Kathy, I can't do anymore.
Well, I did interview the last person, but it wasn't somebody that we had intended to interview. It was somebody that was recommended to us, and Melinda had no steam left, and so I did the interview, and it ended up not being something
it was on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, but anyway, it was pretty crazy. We were exhausted, but
one after the other.
Man, we came home with all this content. It was awesome because Jim Wilder, he's amazing,
but then we have like audio from 4 different sources, and like I'm telling you,
listen, the editing process, y'all.
If you've done any of that, you know what I'm talking about.
I need a gold star for the audio editing from that first season because it was crazy. Until we started just doing audio only and got some proper mics that we could just sit on a tabletop, it was crazy. I think with Carl Lehman, we had like 5 sources and none of them were good.
We did. We had a tabletop mic and I kept hitting the table, or he did to make a point. And it's like, anyway, and the Lord, and so, but
that was crazy.
And your God have mercy. But he did, the thing is, it's like, what is in your hand to do? What can I do with what is in my hand? Yeah. And for me, as one who is, we both are people of excellence, especially since I used to do filmmaking in my career, and it was driving me crazy that I couldn't buy a $5,000 camera because I didn't have $5,000 to buy a camera. It was a camera that was like, oh my gosh, I should be way better than this. And I just felt the Lord say, just use what's in your hand. And it wasn't as high of quality as I would have liked, but we just wanted to get the content out, and that's what we did. And I feel like we were faithful with what we had and still are. We haven't upgraded to any fancy equipment. Obviously, right now we're on a phone in the car. But,
we're just keeping it real,
And we still, film stuff in front of the fridge because in the kitchen because
we finally bought a magnet that has our logo on it. So at least the side of the fridge has a logo on it. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But we can't really record audio in the kitchen because we have a vaulted ceiling and it's echoey. So most of the time we record our portion in my bedroom. Like we just kind of standing with the little Yeti mic
bookshelf,
and then we also are using Squadcast or Zoom to catch virtual interviews now. But I think we got 15 of those primary interviews from season 1 professionally edited, and they're not available anywhere yet. I mean, if there's a big demand for them, like if y'all want them. you can pop into our premium face-to-face heart healing network, and they're available there as a perk to be a member. Some amazing content where you can watch those, and you can find out about getting into that on our website. But the face-to-face heart healing network is our membership site that we launched actually because of COVID. We got pulled off the road. We started doing all these trainings with the Emmanuel approach, which was also kind of fun. How that kind of, we kind of fell into that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we did, but we also need to talk about the upcoming one that is happening.
I know,
too.
we do need to talk about that.
Can I just take a commercial break?
Well, you can take a commercial break.
Let me take a commercial break. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Hello, and welcome to the Emmanuel Approach Training by Melinda Wilson and Kathy Little. This episode of the Face-to-Face Ministries podcast is brought to you by the Emmanuel Approach Training, led by Melinda Wilson and Kathy Little.
You just said that.
Yes, I know, but in case they forgot.
Oh, okay.
So we are, so this is for time sensitive. You might be listening to this in 2024, but right now it is the middle of May in the year of 2021 AD. It is still AD, correct? So we're so excited. Actually, we really are. We're taking a tour of the Southeast, which is, I love the Southeast.
Well, we're not going on vacation.
No. We are taking an Emmanuel Approach tour.
Emmanuel Approach is going on
We're
tour.
going to be in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, May 28th and 29th. That's coming up, May 28th and 29th of 2021. And then the following week in the Hampton Roads area, it's going to be in Hampton, Virginia, June 4th and 5th. And these trainings are for anybody who wants deeper intimacy with Jesus, discovering keys to more sustainable joy and peace, and being relationally connected to God and to others. And I'm telling you guys, this stuff is life-changing. We can truly say that, and it's based on brain science.
Yeah, because what these tools are capable of doing are far greater than you probably think, because it's not just about like one thing. It's such a broad spectrum impact, where when you learn these skills and these tools, you're able to have more joy in your life, more joy in your relationships. It brings life to your relationships with others. It's going to help you connect more intimately with Jesus and be relational with him. The number one goal of the Emmanuel Approach is deeper intimacy with Jesus, healing from things that like traumatic memories or pain or, painful places in your life. That's a byproduct that comes from intimacy with Jesus. So the focus is, let's help you get connected to Jesus, and let's teach you some ways that you can do that they're simple, but they're profound. And that true connection with Jesus, intimacy with Jesus, will change everything, including your relationships, quality of life, and a million other things. So y'all need to come to that. All the information is on our website. In addition to those two on the coast, we're actually going to be in Metro Atlanta in Woodstock. We're going to be at Ark Family Church in Woodstock. We're going to do a one-day basic training on the 12th of June, and all of the information is going to be on our website. It's already there now. If you go to face-to-faceministries.org, there's a banner across the top where you can actually click on that to find a training near you. And we're also going to be going back to Denver in August, so we'll give you more information on that. So that's anything more you wanted to say about that, Mel?
Yeah, I mean, that's, and Dashaway Weekend.
Well, yeah, Dashaway, that's a different commercial.
I know it is. We're going to hey, why can't this show have two commercials?
Well, no, wait, let me say something
Okay.
here. I think one of the most beautiful things that has happened as a result of this podcast is that we have been able to meet some amazing people. I'm always astounded at how many people find us because of the podcast. They come and they're part of something that we are doing, like whether it be in the face-to-face heart healing network, or they're on some online thing that we did, like a class or a school or something that we've done. But then they come and meet up with us in person at events. Like, we've had people travel great distances to come to in-person events, and we already feel like we know them because they've been in our network, but they found us because of the podcast. So thanks for listening and sharing and getting this out. This has been an amazing journey for us, where we started from podcast. What's a podcast? I don't even know how to access a podcast, to now we're climbing up close to 100,000 downloads, and we've got our 100th episode coming up in a couple of weeks. So it's just so amazing to be able to meet people in person. So we really would love to have you guys come and attend one of our trainings, and let's get to know you. Let's be friends. You know, we love to have that two-way interactive relational connection with you guys, and even more so, Jesus wants that with you. And so let us help you. Let's put some tools in your hands so that you can have that. It's just, there's so many facets involved here. It's like, we just love getting to know you guys and meeting people in person who've heard about us initially because of this little tiny podcast. It's crazy.
Yeah, and talking about Emmanuel trainings, I'm just thinking that it was almost 2 years ago. It was July of 2019 when the world looked very different. And I think I had, was it that people were asking where they can get training?
Yeah.
And there wasn't any place, and Kathy was like,
No. We were gonna, because we
send them somewhere.
No, wait a minute. No, we had met.
We were gonna bring some people.
We were gonna bring in Kent and Kathy Larson,
Yeah.
who are dear friends of ours down at the Laguna Niguel Vineyard, and we had interviewed them. Go look at it. And there's this funny story about that episode. I'll tell you in a minute. But we were going to try and bring them up to teach it, and then I'm like, why, Melinda? You can teach this stuff. You've been involved with this model for years. Why can't you teach it? And then it was like the light went on, and that was the start of, okay, let's put together training and let's go for it.
Yeah, I was sharing with some friends today. I said, I spread out over this humongous, at a front, we were house sitting at this massive dining room table. And I took all the Emmanuel approach. I had the 700-page book. I had Patty Vallada's book. I had notes. I had from the 2 trainings I'd been to from Dr. Carl. So pages and pages. I had literally probably 1,000 pages of content from 2 trainings I'd been to and these 2 books. And I just put it all out. And I'm like, okay, Lord, this is a lot. What do I do? And of course, it needs to be in Melinda's style. You know, it's not going to be like Dr. Carl. It's not going to be like anybody else who teaches it. It has to come from me. And so the Lord just really, I spent hours and hours and hours, several days, and probably a whole week or more, just pouring over these notes and putting together. And I'm telling y'all, it's not easy to take 1,000 pages, like boil down almost 1,000 pages of content into, 7 hours of training. So how do I do this? You know?
Well, you've done a brilliant job.
I've adapted it, of course, but then we had some friends, like 12 friends. We just invited them over, charged them, said, just for the heck of it, $25, you know, and they all came, and it was a day and a half. And I remember the comment from one lady came up from Bakersfield, like 4 hours away, but another friend said, this is the best teaching I've ever heard. And that's not to brag on me. The content's amazing. Is phenomenally life-changing. This is not just, let's go to a conference. And we had a lady come up from Bakersfield, a pastor, and she gave a testimony of the healing that she'd experienced. We did the big breaking up into triads. It's very experiential. It's very hands-on and practical. And she had a breakthrough of healing that she had been asking the Lord for over 2 decades.
Come on.
There you go. So then subsequent to that, she invited us to come and do a training in her church several months later because of the transformation she got.
And off we went.
Because this is what it's about, y'all. It is truly a life-changing experience going to an Emmanuel training.
And they're the commercial. I mean, that was a long commercial.
Well, I forgot that we were even doing a commercial. That was the background of how we came to start teaching Emmanuel approach, because that's such a huge part of this.
It is a huge part of this.
And like you were saying, it's a segue, because you were saying people have come to Emmanuel training because of the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's awesome.
And then they experience it. You all experience it. And then you're like, okay. We've had people come from all over the country, and we had people fly from Virginia to Oregon And then 2 weeks ago, we had people fly from North Carolina to Oregon.
Yes. And so it's worth it, y'all. And please go to our website and click on the training tab, and you can get information on all of the trainings. There's actually a little video there too that kind of summarizes the Emmanuel approach. If you want to share it with a friend, say, hey, what do you think about coming to this? But anyway, I want to get back on the podcast train. The episode we did with Kent and Kathy Larson, I was still learning this. Like, I was making mistakes. Like, you didn't know all of them because I'd catch them. But I set up that episode to publish, and I had submitted it without. It was not the final. It was just Melinda's and my banter, and it was not the final. It was not the final, and it didn't even have the interview with it. And my friend sends me a Marco Polo from Texas. She's like, Kathy, I think you might want to check the podcast. I don't think it's the right file. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I uploaded the wrong file. I uploaded our raw, unedited banter. And I'm like,
I swore.
No, and I'm like, I was like, oh, Jesus, please let it not be bad. But it wasn't. It was our unedited. It was completely unedited. So after that, I learned that whenever I complete the file, I have to put final in the file name so I don't upload the wrong one. I upload the right one. But Melinda, who would you say, I know you talked about Heidi Baker, but who would you say was like one of your favorite, like one of the most favorite interviews? Do you have like a favorite? Because that's a hard question, but I actually have an answer to that.
What's yours?
I think, there's one, I was a little starstruck with Paul Young, but he greeted us at his home with a hug as if we were long lost friends. And we have become really good friends with Paul and absolutely love him, and we're excited because he's going to be part of what's happening next in our next episode, which is really cool. But I would say for me, the most meaningful, I think, to me was when I had the opportunity to interview Terry Cantrell. And we went to the church that God had placed me in for my healing journey in Kennesaw, Georgia. And I got to sit down with the man that God assigned to walk me through my journey. And for me, having that opportunity to interview him, because of the fingerprints of that man in my life being so profound, that church being so significant in my healing journey, that one was really significant to me. Like on a really personal level, that one was really, really, really important and significant to me. And you all got to meet him. I got to introduce this amazing, wonderful healer to all of you. And so that would be the most meaningful to me, I think.
Well, I do have two. And I would say they're both in Florida. And Judith McNutt,
yes.
Her husband, Francis, who passed away just a little over a year ago, they founded Christian Healing Ministries, and their whole story is beautiful and amazing and remarkable. And he was a priest, and he left the priesthood, and they got married, and she was a psychologist, her whole background. But I had known of him most of my life, and my parents had taken me to this camp every summer, CFO camp. It's a family camp. But
Camp Farthest Out.
Camp Farthest Out. He had been a speaker a couple times, along with John and Paula Sanford, who are Elijah House founders. And so I remember, even from childhood, seeing Francis McNutt in his white priest robe.
Frock? Do they call it a frock?
I think so. Or priestly garments. No, I don't remember. But, and so I have, and they had his books on our shelf and at home growing up. And of course, it didn't mean anything to me as a child, but then growing up and really coming into the whole inner healing world over the last 2 decades, Judith and Francis McNutt are on the top of the list because they were really grandparents in the healing movement. And so meeting Judith, I felt like it was almost coming full circle in a way, because I feel like the whole inner healing is in my DNA. And because of her presence, she has when someone walks into the room or you walk into someone's room and they have a presence. You know what I'm talking about. And she has a presence.
There's so much authority.
And she's
carries a lot of
beautiful.
authority.
And she is radiant and she's elegant, but really, really funny and gracious and fun to be with and easy and unassuming and humble. And, you know, she would be telling me to stop it because I did kind of go on and on when we were with her, and she's like, okay, Melinda,
enough.
But I can't help it. I am very effusive, but I only say what I really mean. It's coming from my heart. And I just felt like I could sit at her feet for years, honestly. And there's so much to learn from her. But also, I would say who's a friend of hers is Father Andrew Miller, and he is the founder of HeartSync. And the reason that is special to me is because several years ago, I was in a massive healing season, and I spent an intensive 6 days with Father Andrew getting HeartSync, and it changed my life. So much so that I have HeartSync logo tattooed on my wrist.
Literally tattooed.
I'm not kidding. I really do. It's a heart with 3 circles, and to learn more about that, go to episode, whichever one that's
I have
Father
no
Andrew.
idea what episode it is.
But at that point, I really needed a lot of help, and he helped me tremendously. But then over the years, we've become friends. And when we sat down to do that interview, I was sitting down with a peer, and he even has said that to me. And now we are peers. We're doing ministry really alongside each other. We're not doing the same thing, but we all know a lot of the same people. And he's friends with Carl Lehman and Judith McNutt. And we've introduced him to some of our friends through the Transformation Alliance. And so when we sat down to do that interview, I'm interviewing a peer. He's being interviewed by a peer. And that's just really testimony to the Lord and his faithfulness and how he heals, but how much he restores and redeems. And it's no longer, oh, I really need your help. We're actually mutually blessing and co-laboring together. And Andy, Father Andrew, I call him Father Andrew because I respect him so much. He is Father Andrew Miller, but he has become a very dear friend. I love him very much. And just having that relationship it's an honor. And so I would say those two were the most special to me. One, because it's so personal and we're in good relationship, and the other just was another hero of mine.
Well, the irony is that you and I both have picked interviews with people that were prominent figures in our own healing journey.
Yes.
And so that's pretty cool because, you know, Terry says the same thing. He considers me a peer as well. And that's pretty crazy. You know, it just goes to show you that God can use anyone.
Yes.
Really? And
so true.
And, you know, if you've heard our stories in episode 2 and episode 3, way at the very beginning, you know, the enemy did everything he could to take us out. And, you know, I'll just be honest with you. We're not like in the clear at this point from the enemy, because he would love to destroy what God is doing and what God has called us to carry and all of that. And so, you know, we have to be diligent to go about our own healing. I'm right now dealing with some heart wounds that I'm getting a deeper measure of healing in. And it's something that we have to do, especially as leaders. It's like, you know what? There's no pride here. We're just people that have said yes. And it's cost us to do what we do, but we wouldn't trade it. I don't think Melinda and I know how to say no to Jesus because we love him so much. He's changed our lives. We have personally experienced an immense amount of healing, and we continue to pursue that because it's worth it. He's worth it. We love him. We know him. We're friends with him, and we want everybody else to be introduced to the Jesus that we know. And so it's been a real interesting journey, and we've got some other ideas up our sleeve that will change the format, but our focus is always going to be, how can we help you experience the fullness of what Jesus represents? How can we introduce you to the Jesus that we know? How can we help you connect with the healer and the wonderful, amazing Jesus? I'm excited about what the future holds. And I do encourage all of you guys, check out our website, Face to Face Heart Healing Network. Would love to have you be part of that. We've got a free network in there. You can come join us in there. We've got our premium network in there.
Yeah,
as well.
where real community is happening.
Yeah,
is
real
in the
community is a
premium.
premium.
We're
training with the Emmanuel approach.
We are, and we in the premium, a real community is being built, and there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And also, I'm plugging Dashaway because I think we're about to be wrapping up this podcast because we're at about 40 minutes.
I know it's
but
late.
yeah, Dashaway weekends for women, July 16th to 18th in Lake Tahoe at Zephyr Point. I'm telling you guys, God just moves there, and it's beautiful. They call Lake Tahoe the thin place, and the Celts used to call, of course, the whole United Kingdom is a thin place, but certain parts, especially where heaven just seems to be a little bit closer to earth. And you know what I'm talking about. You have those special places where
the veil is
there is a place where I feel God's presence even more here. And of course, it is at 7,000 feet, but also it's just beautiful. And when we are in a place of exquisite beauty, and this Lake Tahoe is the second deepest alpine lake in the country. If you haven't been, how deep is it at its deep? 1,800 feet. So the water is crystal clear. It's an experience. Even just being at Lake Tahoe is an experience. Yeah. And the retreat center is right on the lake. But even more than that is the changed lives and the encounter with Jesus that you'll have when you come, because that's what we're all about on the weekend. But it is not a conference. It really is a retreat.
It's a retreat.
It's a time where you will come back at the end of the weekend feeling rested and having some healing and some new friends. So July 16th to 18th, you can find out at dashawayweekends.com.
Yeah, and there is a early bird sale happening right now until the 31st of May. So take advantage of that. It's $50 off and until May 31st. So bring a buddy. All the rooms are hotel style with private bath, 2 queen beds, and it's right on the lake. And we actually have an option because the group after us canceled. If you wanted to stay an extra night, you can for an extra charge for lodging and meal package. And there's an option to add that on if you want.
Just extend your stay a little bit.
Come
Hang
on.
out with us. For an extra day.
Bring your paddleboard and your kayak.
Yeah. And you can actually rent them there too. But we'd love to have you with us. We've had ladies from all over. In fact, we have people flying from across the country to
Florida.
come. So join us and find out even more like in person just what we're all about. And yes, it is only for women. I'm sorry
guys.
but please come and join us. And we just want to thank you so much for listening. And whether this is your first time you're listening, welcome. Go and listen to all of them. Binge listen. It's better than Netflix, I think. But we're really appreciate, and I know we say this in the plug too, but please leave us a 5-star review and just get the word out about it, because I mean, as you know, if you're listening, it really is life transformational what we're sharing, because it's awesome, Jesus. So please share and write a review, and
and I do hope you guys have enjoyed this. You know, we wanted to save. We've got the big panel discussion interview coming up with Paul Young, Baxter Kruger, and Brad Jerzak. And if you've never heard I know you've heard of Paul Young, but if you've not heard of Brad and Baxter yet, y'all are in for a real treat. And we have a 2-hour interview with them. We're going to break it up into 2 episodes, and they are all really big carriers of the Father heart of God, the relational aspect of God, just understanding more of who we are to Jesus and our connection with Jesus and the presence of God with us. And we thought it was a fun way to kind of wrap up our first 100 episodes. There will be more coming, but we wanted to do that celebration. And but we thought it would be fun to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, some stories of the journey that we've been on with the podcast, and give you a little bit more of a window. Just make it more personal. We thought that would be fun, and hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please let us know if you've enjoyed this episode. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You can even go to our Facebook page or Instagram and just send us a message, post a comment, something, just so we know that you're listening. We'd love to know if you are enjoying what you're hearing, and really just love to hear from you, because we've been having this conversation with the two of us in the car and letting you in on it. But we love to hear from you.
Good job driving, Kathy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Still driving.
Yeah,
but,
we're almost home. But thank you for
thanks for listening, you guys. We really appreciate it.
Riding in the car with us and doing this journey with us. We really can't do it without you.
They're literally doing the journey with us today.
You are, and this is what we're about, is raising up an army of heart healers and healed hearts.
That's right.
That's why we want you to get the word out. That's why we're asking you to share this, to review it, because when you do review it, it actually brings it up in the Google Analytics even more to the Google. You know what I'm talking about? The
and
analytics.
Apple will recommend
and
this
Apple.
as well.
So we want everyone to experience the interactive living presence of Jesus, which brings healing and transformation. So
there's nothing that beats it, y'all.
There is
nothing.
But we love you guys. We bless you. We hope to see you at one of the Emmanuel trainings or a Dashway in July. Please, or all of it. Come to all of it.
Yeah, come to all of it.
Come on, be a super fan, y'all. And we'll be a super fan of yours.
Yay.
Seriously. But love meeting you guys, and we really, really appreciate your listening.
Yep.
So much.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you soon.
God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us today. If you're enjoying this podcast, please share it with your friends.
And please stay tuned for more great content coming your way.